Does anyone, are you guys hip from the 80s? You guys remember Morrissey? And where's Morrissey? I want Morrissey. Why can't I get Morrissey?
Dear hero imprisoned with all the new crimes that you are.
We're going back in time, counting down the top 80 songs from the greatest pop music decade in the history of human civilization, the 1980s. You're listening to the 80 of the 80s podcast with your hosts, DJ CK1 and AK47. I know who number 44 is. I know.
How?
I saw you putting bandages on your nipples.
Oh.
That gave it away.
So what we're doing, they know it's Christmas, right? Because Band-Aid.
Also, I saw you reading his autobiography. You've been trying to hide it.
I've been keeping it in the bathroom. I wanted you to think that I was reading porn magazines instead.
Well, nobody actually reads porn magazines, but you're reading his autobiography, the bandages on the nipples. You know, it's not hard to put the pieces together.
Okay, so who is it then?
Morrissey.
Okay.
And I'm actually upset about this.
Right.
Because Morrissey, I mean, come on, number 44? He needs to be, down in, at least 20s.
Well, look, we have done a lot of great songs already. How deep of a decade it is. It's so much
true.
Quality. And a quantity of quality, too.
We haven't done Kraftwerk yet, so Kraftwerk is better than Morrissey. You people, you hear that? Kraftwerk.
Well, okay.
It's better than Morrissey.
It's based on the song. It's the board. They get together. And the thing is, I did do research by suffering through his insufferable autobiography
Insufferable?
in order to prepare for the show. And I really dragged my feet to the bathroom every time to read it because it's not a long book, but it's kind of tough to make it through because a lot of the stereotypes about the man, the Mozzinator, or Mozilla. What do they call him Moz anyway?
I always thought that it was referencing cheese because mozzarella cheese, you know, but I don't know how that got started, man. Cheese makes me think of Morrissey anyway because it's the more I see, the more I want to eat it.
That's one thing I was wondering because sometimes the state of Missouri has two S's and then they'll change the S's to Z's and call them Mizzou.
Mizzou.
And then sometimes, like Australia, they'll call it Aussie, but then sometimes they'll call it Oz, like A-U-Z or something. Why is it when you have two S's together, does it make a Z sound?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. You're asking someone who does not know the answer to that.
Anyway, so, going back to his autobiography, though, it's kind of like, I don't know if he's reached that William Shatner, David Hasselhoff, Bruce Campbell level to where he's so aware of his shtick, his persona, that he wanted to present himself as the stereotype of him, which is being a miserable, complaining, wussy, whiny guy. Third of it is him complaining about him suffering through Catholic school and the nuns smacking him around and the priests smacking him around and stuff. And then I was skimming through that, and then another third of the book was about
a court of justice with no use for truth.
His court case with Mike Joyce, former drummer of the Smiths, Mike Joyce. He didn't write any of the songs, but he sued a quarter of the Smiths song royalties.
And you think you've won?
He won too, didn't he?
Mike Joyce did, yes.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, he did. And Andrew Rourke joined on because Andrew Rourke also got a quarter because he was the bass player who didn't write songs either. But yeah, Morrissey, he just went on and on and on. And it made me really wonder, he went to such great lengths characterizing the trial in such a harsh light.
You lied and you were believed by a JP, senile and vile.
Obviously exaggerates some of it, but how much did he over-exaggerate to where really maybe he was in the wrong? I don't know. And really, I don't really want to know. In a way, I don't really care. I did like in the autobiography, there were a couple ghost stories.
Yeah.
That was good. That was interesting. He's a pretty good writer. He's like a poet, and that, he likes to do little rhymes and alliterations and sentences that go on and on. In an interview one time, when asked like why he doesn't rejoin Morrissey to form the Smiths, Johnny Marr said, "Well, you know how Morrissey is. That's all I have to say. You know
that's
how
the way to describe it.
Yeah, that's how he is, and he's been much mocked and made fun of and things like that for his persona, but in a way he knows that that's his appeal. That's why so many shy, introverted, and a lot of single men adore him and find him very attractive, and like maybe either he's a role model or my best bro or bromance or something like that. In a way, I could identify with that too. When I started listening to him in high school, and even though in the 90s, and I hardly ever knew about him, I didn't find out about him until The More You Ignore Me, The Closer I Get song, which is a really good song. They got some airplay, and I was just like, who is this guy? I didn't know anything about him.
Wow, you lived in a cage, huh?
When I heard that he used to be in this group called the Smiths, and then I knew, hey, I remember the Smiths because that guy Johnny Marr was in the Smiths, and Johnny Marr was in Electronic, which is a duo he did with Bernard Sumner of New Order, and that was very synth poppy. So I just assumed that, hey, the Smiths must be a really good synth pop group. Back then,
wow, that's amazing. You didn't know.
I was very anti-guitar, pro-keyboard. When I got from BMG, I got one of the Smiths' greatest hits compilations, popped in, and the first song was This Charming Man, and instantly I understood the right way to play guitar. How guitar music can be really beautiful, melodic, and textured, and the whole jangly guitar thing. I've not experienced anything like that.
I think it's interesting, though, because I've seen an interview with him before where he talks about how he's a very happy person, but he doesn't seem that way. And I know you can't always... You don't know what's going on inside someone's head, but, I mean, he complains about everything all the time. How can you really be that happy of a person?
Yeah.
When you seem like you see the negative in things. All that aside, I love him. I mean, there's just something so magnetic and so... It's like you have a love-hate relationship with him because he's very arrogant. I don't mean to say all these bad things about him, but let me get to the point here. He's very, very arrogant. He's very negative. The logical part of me wants so much to dislike this man. I just can't do it, though. I can't not like Morrissey. It's just not part of me.
Well, in his defense, and you say he reminds you of cheese. He probably eats a lot of cheese because he's a vegetarian.
Yep, I'm with you, buddy.
Right, and he really cares about animals. It seems like he's a very compassionate person. Mm-hmm. If he's your friend, if he likes you as a person, he'll go on and on about you. He'll mention people all the time that he seems to have just like a little bit of a working relationship with. And then they die, and so he writes them a nice 2-page eulogy about how great of a person they are. I've heard it say that some people are people persons and some people are thing persons, and I'm more interested in things and ideas. But Morrissey's definitely he's more of a people person, and so he's very empathetic, and that goes along with being emotional. Yeah. And now if he doesn't like you, he really hates your guts and he wants you to die.
When will you die?
Yeah, and that's what's so extreme about Morrissey is that, you're talking about how he can either really love you or really dislike you.
When will you die?
And I just think that that's really strange. I don't know why, because on one hand, he seems like such a loving, caring person, but at the same time, he seems like just so negative and hateful.
When will you die?
And yeah, I've seen interviews before with him where he was talking like about wishing death on people and stuff.
When will you die?
And I just think, that's really extreme.
I praise the day that brings you pain.
But he's never killed anyone.
No, he hasn't.
To our knowledge.
That we know, and I don't suspect that he would, because I do think he's too good of a person to do that. But I don't care. All the negative stuff aside, I love him.
You're free to like and dislike anyone for any whatever reason you want to. And it's fine, as long as you treat them, if you ever met him in person, you treat him like a decent human being, and he treats you well, then that's fine. And he's good to his fans. And
he is. So that is true.
Yeah, just let him be the unique character. And he is very unique. It's kind of like, I don't know if there's anyone else in the world quite like Stephen Patrick Morrissey.
I have a couple of Morrissey stories, actually. The first one I'll tell, though, is I saw him perform in Nashville a few years ago. It was at the Ryman, and I had a seat kind of towards the back, actually. But nobody was getting up to go to the front. And so I thought, what the hell is wrong with these people? So I got up and I went to the front. And I stood there for most of the show. I don't know if you've ever seen a live performance with him, but he takes his shirt off at the end. and he throws it into the audience, and all this sweat like dripped on me. And that night, I thought I could have died. I loved it. Now that I sit here and think about it, I'm like, yeah, it was a little gross. But at the time, it was the greatest thing. And he does. He'll go around and he'll shake your hand and stuff. So if you've never seen Morrissey, even if you're kind of a half-ass fan, go see him. Because he's fantastic live. He is absolutely fantastic.
Odds are, I guess you got like 80-90% chance he'll probably keep his word and keep his date and show up. I mean, he is kind of notorious for canceling just because, I'm not in the mood, or, well, he doesn't say that. He'll make up some excuse. I mean, he does have esophageal cancer now, so that's a pretty good excuse.
Does he still have cancer?
He does, but it's not, what's the word?
Is it in remission?
Yeah, basically, he said he gets his esophagus scraped, which sounds like throat, right? So that happens every now and then. So, and
wow, that sounds painful.
Right.
I mean, he can still sing, so whatever's happening with him is managing it, and he's amazing. Here's my other Morrissey story, and this is a true story. I've always known who Morrissey was. I knew the Smiths. I just grew up hearing about them. I heard their music. But I wasn't really a huge Morrissey fan because I always kind of viewed him as this really arrogant jerk. So I was working at a pretty famous hotel in Nashville, and he was at the bar, which I always thought he didn't drink.
Actually, again in his autobiography, he does.
Okay.
Some, and I don't know if he's an alcoholic, but he does.
Well,
some, so
I was a cocktail waitress at a bar,
and he's not completely celibate all the time. So I'm sure so many people would love to know more about.
I was not waiting on him, so I cannot confirm whether or not he was drinking booze or water. Honestly, I thought it was pretty cool that he was there, but I could have cared less in a way. But he was sitting at a round table with this group of people, and he just kept buying rounds for people that I worked with. I worked with this one guy who was just absolutely obsessed with Morrissey, and he just...
No way.
Yeah.
Someone who was obsessed with Morrissey.
And he kept running over there, like, oh my God, can you believe it? Can you believe it? Morrissey's here. And I'm like, that dude is so arrogant. Like, who gives a crap? I mean, he sat there like... He knew.
Like he was king of the court, right?
Yes.
He was Jesus at the Last Supper.
Even like when he talked to people, and I'm not meaning to say anything bad about Morrissey because I love Morrissey, but he has this way of like when he talks to people, he kind of leans his head to the right a little bit, or maybe to the left. I can't remember, but he leans his head to one side, and it's like
she's leaning her head.
I'm leaning my head
right now just to demonstrate this.
Let me tell you what, he's awesome because he knows his angle. He knows his angle. He's like, this is the way I look good right here.
He's probably spent a lot of time in front of the mirror.
I'm trying to think if I've heard a Morrissey song that I just really didn't like. Is it called Irish Blood? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, Irish Blood, English Heart.
Yes. That song's okay, but I'm not really, I'm not crazy about that.
Actually, we haven't even talked about this song, but...
Yeah, we haven't.
Number 44 song. I've sampled his later material. It's kind of like a lot of artists, as they get older, they kind of abandon the song, like the melody, and they focus more on the lyrics. Mm. It's more lyrical than musical. Yet, his last album, World Peace Is None of Your Business, was actually, the music was very good in that one. Now, granted, the songs weren't as catchy as they could have been, but still, I thought it was an improvement over anything that he's done since. And people always say, best album since this, best album since that. I say probably best since Vauxhall and I. And actually, he has one coming out in November. Oh. So, yeah, still pumping it out.
Well, let's talk about why you chose this song. Or, excuse me, the board chose this song.
The Last of the Famous International Playboys. Great title. You know, yes. It's a bit long.
It is.
One of my favorite words, iconic. It is very...
I thought you were going to say anecdotal. Like, that's your...
Anecdotal, you're right. Anecdotal.
I'm going to put that on your tombstone, I swear. Okay. His life was anecdotal.
Anecdotal and iconic. Iconic and... Yeah, there you go. That's the name of my new rock band. What was I talking about?
Iconic. That's all I know.
Yes. He has several greatest hits albums now. On one of them, the first track is this song, and I think it's a great way to lead it off. Now, of course, it's ironic, and he's probably doing tongue-in-cheek, because I don't really think of him as a famous international playboy. Maybe he is. Maybe he's famous.
You don't think of him that way?
Well, playboy means you sleep around with a lot of girls and stuff, and he's not really into that. He's not a cruiser.
We can dream, though.
Yeah, he has a certain wit and humor that people really enjoy about his lyrics, and I do too. Basically, it says he's in a cell. Now, I don't know if when he's in prison. No, I think his cell is his bedroom, because he always talks about, like, being boarded up in his bedroom and not being able to get out of bed and, like, scribbling down poetry. He's writing to someone who's in prison. Now, is this person really literally in prison, or are they in, like, an emotional prison?
Reggie Cray, do you know my name?
Now, he does say, Reggie Cray, do you know my name? Now, do you know who the Cray brothers are?
No, I don't think so.
Well, if we ever do a Spandau Ballet show, maybe we should watch the Crays beforehand, because the two of the members of Spandau Ballet, two brothers, play the Cray brothers in the movie The Crays.
Right.
The critics call it one of the eeriest gangster movies ever made.
Who are they? Tell me, because part of me is like, yes, I do, but I can't place them.
Identical twins who rose from poverty to power.
They were East London gangsters. I haven't really seen the Cray movie. I don't know a lot about their history, but they were pretty well known in the 60s, swinging London.
From obscurity to fame.
You know the Beatles?
I believe they know us.
It is interesting how gangsters can be so high profile, and yet the cops can't lay a finger on them. And that went on for a long time, because they would kill witnesses or something. Then he mentions in the next verse, Ronnie Cray. So
Blur mentioned Rodney Cray in a song. Charmless Man.
Yeah, not this Charming Man.
See, I'm getting. I almost said Charming Man because of the Smiths, but
right.
Yeah, you're right.
I wonder if there was influence there too with the Charmless, Charming.
English. Well, I don't know.
This is on a little bit of a side note.
You know the Beatles?
I believe they know us.
People, especially in America, talk about the Beatles freaking all the time. They did a poll of English musicians, and the number one most influential musical act is in England. Guess.
Oasis?
No! No, and I would have thought David Bowie too.
Yeah, I was thinking Bowie, actually.
If you poll, like, I saw another poll of, like, musicians from different countries, David Bowie comes out on top.
Does it have to be an English artist?
It's the Smiths.
The Smiths, okay.
So the Smiths were, I was
just about to say Morrissey, but I guess the Smiths,
so if for, like, so much of the music that came out afterwards, the Smiths was the foundation of it. And we may or may not, spoiler, get to the Smiths and Spandau Ballet some other time.
If we don't, I'm going to strike.
Going back to the lyrics, this is my favorite part.
I never wanted to kill, I am not naturally evil. Such things I do, just to make myself more attractive to you. Have I failed?
He killed somebody to impress a Ronnie or Reggie Cray or somebody. It's a fun song, I guess, about murder. And yes, it's got it's that hook of him saying the title of the song, Last of the Famous International Playboys. It drills itself into your head.
Did you just poke a hole in the sofa?
Yes, that's how passionate I am about this song.
Don't penetrate the sofa. I know Morrissey's hot and everything.
I'm thinking about murder. What did you think about the video?
Anything with Morrissey in it makes me happy.
His hair was the most
perfect.
Why is that hairstyle where it goes forward? Like,
I call it the poof. I don't know what it is.
Is that this poofiness? He could poke out your eye with that thing.
I don't know, but it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Any video, but November spawned a monster. Where he has the Band-Aid on his nipple and he's like rolling around. Oh, God. They wanted him to be nude in that video. What happened? They didn't pay him enough or something? I mean, come on.
Apparently, no one showed his tit either. So.
Well, it turned out gloriously.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful.
I think it was a missed opportunity. I mean, I would say that's probably my favorite Morrissey song. It didn't come out in the 80s. November Spawned a Monster. But it's a very epic tune. I think so much image-wise you could have done with that song. But no, it's just him rolling around the deck.
I agree with you, but I'm really happy with the way it turned out. But I have to say, actually, it's 90s, but that's my favorite Morrissey song, too.
Monster in the shape of this child who later cried. But Jesus made me so. Jesus saved me from pity, sympathy, and people discussing me.
Take a commercial break.
Okay.
We'll talk about some of our favorite Morrissey
But we are
songs,
going to continue to speak about Morrissey, right?
if you insist.
Yes.
Okay.
We better go to a commercial.
Okay?
Yeah.
We'll come back.
Because Marcy's coming.
Oh, really?
Oh, please. Marcy is coming. Look. And it's... Huh? He's coming? Oh, well, I'm going over. Who's coming?
Meet the lady. Her name is Lisa, and she's the most exciting thing to happen in computers today. The Lady Lisa, beautiful, a classic triumph for Apple. Pure and simple graphic images and a clever pointing device called a mouse. But most importantly, unlimited expandability, unlimited power. Lisa, from Apple. The future today at Wallace Micromart.
Hello, my name is Scully Jones. I host a podcast about old-time radio, and I'm dying to share them with you. Stories from some of the greats, like Lights Out, Beyond Midnight, Sleep No More, Creaking Door, The Inner Sanctum, The Price of Fear with Vincent Price, The Unexpected, and much more. I'll be rattling my bones over at Zerbinator.wordpress.com for all your podcasting needs. Enjoy.
Everything's set for tonight, Mr. Trump.
I wonder what Trump's game is this time.
Trump's got a new game. Hey, Trump's got a new deal. What's your game, Donald?
Trump has a new game. What is it?
Is it an airline? A new convention center, Mr. Trump. Is it a convention center? Mr. Trump, please. My new game is Trump, the game.
Trump, the game where you deal for everything you've ever wanted to own. Because it's not whether you win or lose, it's whether you win.
Yes!
Play Trump, the game from Milton Bradley.
I think you'll like it.
Mr. Trump's proceeds from Trump the Game will be donated to charity.
For all those smart shoppers that have already been vegetarians, there's Mr. Stuffing instead of potato head. What do you think, sirs?
Stuffing instead of potatoes, honey, I love you!
Meat is murder, Frank. Speaking of conserving waste, just because your British pop sensation's career has gone stale doesn't mean that he has to. That's why we've invented the Tupperware container to lock in pop star freshness. Who's our stale singing sensation, Frank?
Well, it's none other than British pop star Morrissey. He's a little depressed.
I don't think it really has a waist. Yeah, it looks like guys, if they want their hair to look like Morrissey's, they just have to go in and say, "Give me the Morrissey," which I think is pretty awesome. I think we should just call it the poof, because I don't know if it has an actual name.
Yeah, like, do they have like an official hairstyle naming board?
It's just the Morrissey.
During that brief commercial break, we were able to do research on that and other things because we don't have the Gobotron 2000. He's still out of commission. So
I blame that on you entirely.
Well, hey, it's fine because, you know, we can still correct the record. Other thing is like reviewing the video for... I remember the green, all the green stuff in the background.
Lots of green.
I forgot the really pathetic guy who's supposed to be, I guess, Playboy, but he's just running around, I guess, looks like the streets of Leeds or Manchester or something, and not really doing anything significant. He doesn't look like an international famous Playboy, so I don't think he's getting any play either. So I can't remember the name of the director who directed most of Morrissey's videos. He's probably another one of those people-oriented persons who hey, I like this character, I'm just going to film him doing a bunch of oddball stuff. And it'll make for an interesting subject matter.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it makes sense because Morrissey is kind of strange. So for his videos to be erratic and not make sense, I guess it's kind of fitting, right?
Well, there's a little bit, like Interesting Drugs. They kind of threw in this little thing about Morrissey handing out animal rights flyers, and then suddenly everyone's like, they get all psyched up. The lady dresses up like a Playboy bunny. Hey, here's a Playboy thing again. And walks into an unsecure animal rights testing facility and lets the rabbits out of the cage.
They set the bunnies free.
They didn't work free,
no,
though.
They didn't. They just put them on the floor.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I kind of thought that was strange.
Sucky videos, but good tunes.
Absolutely.
I mean, Interesting Drugs, really catchy. I think about like every time I pop a pill.
You mean legal prescription medication?
Yeah, you're right. Don't come after me. Don't report me.
Yeah, no.
Yes. No, okay. I'm not into the opiates yet, although maybe I'm missing out on something. I heard it's the new trend these days in our parts. Okay.
I'd rather miss out.
Maybe so. I mean, I'm fatigued enough as is, and dopey enough.
Yeah, we're kind of weird with that.
My nightmares are too real. Okay, quoting Peter Gabriel there. Yeah, but these are all like really good singles. One more thing I wanted to throw in about, and I noticed again from watching the video, Morrissey was a bit more, he wasn't too keen on having like the synthesizer in his material, but has a little bit of a really strange keyboard solo. It almost looks like an analog synth, and the guy's like hitting a whammy bar. I get a lot of my synths mixed up. I don't know what brand that was. Was that an old Korg or something? I don't know, but a little wobbly bit there. But yeah, I mean, I think for his material, I would suggest any casual fans out there, I think he put out his first album, Viva Hate, in '88. And then he put out several singles, including this one that we've been talking about. And then he didn't really do albums, but then I think in Kill Uncle, he was kind of forced into doing one very quickly to fulfill a contract. He just took some demo music, add some lyrics. It seemed like it was a rushed affair, not the best. But then Your Arsenal, he got a new band who did more of a rockabilly, rock and roll style. And so that's why Your Arsenal was a really good blast in the nads. 91, 92 was when he started hitting it in America.
I got a feeling when Morrissey comes on, this place...
Granted, the record label didn't promote him much, but he got a bit of a groundswell of a cult following, and especially out in California, and then the Mexicans like Hispanic persons.
Yeah, they love him down there.
Yeah, they do. I think
I don't blame them though. He's great.
Well, I think they might admire his hair.
He kind of croons a little bit too.
Yeah, that's kind of the tradition. There's that group that does Morrissey cover songs, Mexacy. They did the International Plague Girl. Yeah, it was okay. Though.
It was okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
the novelty kind of wears off.
Yeah.
And then Vauxhall and I, which is, the more you ignore me, the closer I get. Some of his best material. Speedway, a good dramatic closer. I almost wonder if that would have been a good song to open the album with Speedway, and then close the album with Now My Heart Is Full, because the way Morrissey has described that song is, now I feel like I've matured.
And now my heart is full. Now my heart is full.
How he has friends now, and he feels like he's more emotionally secure. That could have been the closing tune on the album, and then he could have stopped right then and there. He could have started out with Hand in Glove with the Smiths, and then he finished it off with Now My Heart's Full, and would have wrapped it up all nice in a bow. And then he could have gone into hiding, and the legend of Morrissey, whatever happened to that weirdo. So that's why I say go for his singles, but Smiths is the opposite. Go for everything for the Smiths side.
Yeah,
my suggestion.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
It wasn't very good.
Stephen Patrick Morrissey. Certainly likes the sound of his own voice.
Thank you.
We watched the trailer for the new Morrissey biopic, not autobiopic, because I don't think he had anything to do with it, and he didn't want his tunes to be used in the movie, or at least not Smith's tunes.
Yeah.
And England Is Mine, which is a very brash, ostentatious title, which, I mean, it is a lyric from a Smith song, but still, in the trailer it says he became the worldwide legend, and I still think most people in any country would probably not know who Morrissey is, or maybe England they would.
I think it just depends, honestly. Yeah. I mean, in the area that we live in, probably not. I mean, if you were in the grocery store and you went to somebody and said something about Morrissey, they would probably look at you like you were nuts.
One time, when I was in college, I overheard, at the end of class, there's this one girl, she said to her friend, I'm going to go see Morrissey after this. And I just got all excited. I thought, like, wow, it's a girl who has the same taste in music as me. Whoa. And I went up and said, Morrissey, really? What, does he perform a concert somewhere? She said, no, I'm talking about Dr. Morrissey. And it's like she didn't even know who the musician Morrissey was. So
that's sad. Your hopes and dreams.
I know.
Just
Eventually, I found a lady who kind of liked. No, when I met you, you get that story of that hotel story.
Well,
you weren't as much of a fan back then.
When I met you, I was in my early 20s, and I mean, I've always been a really big fan of music, but I don't really think I grew to truly appreciate music until I was mid-20s. I think I just got to where I appreciated it on a different level and started digging a little bit deeper.
And you knew that Noel Gallagher was a big fan.
Yeah.
Is a big fan.
Yeah, Noel Gallagher.
And J.K. Rowling,
it's
like
funny.
that documentary we saw, just like, why are they asking J.K. Rowling's opinion? Why should that matter?
The most used noun in the English language is time, and I'm running out of it.
But going back to the biopic, I don't know. If you guys want to check out, watch the trailer, and for me, it was really trite and very cringy. I don't think I want to see it. It got bad reviews. The only reason why you would care about him is maybe because you do like his music, but it doesn't have any of his music in it. So it's just like, why should we care about this Morrissey-ish guy?
Well, I mean, I think it could be interesting, maybe. I mean, if it were on TV, I'd watch it, but I wouldn't go out of my way to see it, I guess.
Well, it says the producer, not the director, but the producer of Control. And Control was a pretty good film. That was the Joy Division biopic.
Okay, yeah.
Ian Curtis.
Well, maybe the Morrissey one, maybe we shouldn't turn our noses up at it. Maybe it will be really good.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, when I first saw the dude, he had like the long hair, and I just could not connect him with Morrissey.
Yeah.
But then they showed a split second of him later where he must have, cut his hair off and put his glasses on and all that. And I thought, okay, now he looks like Morrissey. I mean, a lot of Morrissey for me is his hair. You know how I am with hair.
And the way they do trailers, they always have, they put, the best line of the film and, the last thing you see in the trailer. So that's supposed to be the hook, the one thing that grasps you, I have to see it. And this was just...
You're right. I'm Johnny.
Johnny Marr going to Morrissey's doorstep saying, hi, I'm Johnny, I want to start a band. It's just like, all right, yeah, we know that happened, yay.
I don't want to turn my nose up at it, because it could be good.
This is a photograph of you.
We're going to see Depeche Mode.
We are. I'm going to be honest here. I have been actually trying not to think about it because I will get so excited. Really. I've been telling myself don't think too much about it because I will be so excited. I'm afraid I'll have trouble sleeping.
It used to be rock and roll was always for the younger generation. You couldn't even fathom someone over 40 performing. In the 80s, they made fun of the Rolling Stones. And the 90s, they made fun of Aerosmith. And now you got Depeche Mode getting up there in their 50s and everything. And Dave Gahan is still shaking his butt around. But you got groups pushing 70 and stuff still touring. Just the idea was that the older generation, they went to Branson, they listened to easy listening and show tunes and crooners. It's kind of like when Bill Burr, he made that joke.
It's one of the sad things about life. You get old and it passes you by. I feel it passing me by. I'm 46 years old. I don't even have kids, but I can't keep up anymore. Like I had a college kid coming up and I was like, man, I I got to figure out what these kids are into, man. I was 24 when a senior was born. I got to figure out what these dudes are into. So I guess they were into like this like DJ music or some shit. So I'm like, all right, I'll watch some of this, you know? So I have like a reference or two. I don't want to be that old comic coming to the gig being like, what's up with this Monica Lewinsky? Is this crazy? I mean, this Y2K. I mean, is my stylist going to work? I don't know. So I put this shit on. Dude, I lasted 90 seconds. 90 seconds. I was open-minded. All right, put it on. 90 seconds later, I'm like this old man. This isn't music. You know, when I was a kid, you dressed like a woman and you sung about the devil. Now that was music. And you had one ballad every album. Started off in black and white, and when the guitar solo came in, it went to color. That was music.
I like him.
Yeah. Concerts, even with, like, when we went to see Lush, which is one of my favorite groups ever, a lot of it, I did it to say that I've done it, to not have any regrets about it, but it wasn't really like the religious experience I was expecting. Nothing on them. It's just kind of, you're watching people up on stage play a guitar, you know?
Well, I think it's just you had it on such a high pedestal and such a... I think your expectations were a lot higher.
Wasn't expecting anything more than what I got. It's just...
Yeah, maybe.
It was still worthwhile, but...
I thought they were good.
Well, yeah, they were good. In my big three, Lush, Genesis, and Pet Shop Boys, seeing all of them live.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Genesis, well, even though we were way, way, way far back in the hockey arena in Columbus, Ohio, that was still probably the most emotional satisfaction I ever got from concerts. Other than the time you stuck your hand in my... No, I'm joking, I'm joking. That, and then Gary Newman, when I saw him in Atlanta back in 97. And back then, this was 20 years ago, and I was like, oh, Gary Newman, he's so old.
Well, here we are. We're going to see him in December.
We're going to see him in December, yeah. So it's just one of those things. The craziest thing is that when 2015 happened, and people were starting making these memes about hoverboards, and you realize that the Back to the Future film came out in 85, which was 30 years before, and 30 years before that was 1955, which is when the first movie was set.
Yeah.
So 85 was halfway between 55 and 2015. And that's just freaking mind-blowing stuff. It's just kind of like, there was only 5 years between Michael Jackson, the other Michael guy, George Michael. There was only 5 years between Freedom 85 and Freedom 90. And that seemed like more than a decade between those to me. And this music changed so much in just that 5 years. And it's evolved. But since then, it seems like there hasn't been much evolution. And we've talked about this before. We're just a bunch of old fogies.
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, some of my favorite bands are maybe not 80s, but Oasis, my favorite. I have seen them multiple times. I've seen High Flying Birds. I've never seen Beady Eye, which I would like to. But my other one, I have two more. My other one of them would be Depeche Mode.
Right.
So I'm about to see them, which I'm excited about. My other one is Blur. I know there's a big Oasis Blur competition, but I've always been a fan of both. And I would really, really love to see Blur. Actually, I would travel to see Blur.
I think from that era, Pulp and Suede, I wouldn't mind seeing them.
Yeah.
So Pulp did have a short reunion, mostly in California, and that's the only stateside stuff they did. Coachella, things like that. So, but Jarvis is a great performer. Mm-hmm. There's a few live acts I would still go out of my way for, but not much anymore.
Well, for 80s, it's like Depeche Mode would be mine. Tears for Fears was one.
Yeah.
And we just saw them. Simple Minds.
Yes.
They will never come to the States, though. And if they do, they may just play like one show in New York or something, which I would travel to see them too.
Yeah, but nothing is like taking a time machine and seeing them back in their prime.
Oh, I know.
But you can just go to YouTube and see video of them playing in their prime.
Same. Come on, you are obviously not a concert person because you say this to me all the time. Just go buy a DVD. And I'm like, you don't get it. It's not the same. There's no comparison. Absolutely no comparison.
Hey, listeners, if you have any... What?
Kraftwerk.
I was going to change the subject.
I was going to talk about seeing Kraftwerk, but...
Yeah, you're right. That was good. That was good.
Amazing. Yeah. And then meeting Ralph. I mean, it was just 12-year-old high school girl peeing on herself.
I can't explain why that was one of the better concerts. I don't know why. I had trouble explaining it in my last episode to Cosmo D. That was a different kind of an experience.
Well, for me, I obviously I like them anyway, but It really was. It was a fantastic concert.
So, listeners, if you have a concert experience that you would like to share with us, you can send it to us 80ofthe80s at gmail.com. 80OFTHE 80s at gmail.com. Yeah, and most likely we'll read it over on our next show. Darren, any other comments you have?
Yeah.
I have one more comment. Speaking about old fogies, except...
What?
Yes, except...
Don't you talk about them like that.
Yeah, well, you have to accept... Accept is getting up there as well.
Oh, wait, Balls to the Wall?
Yeah. Balls to the Wall, man! That's that group. Now, they don't have their singer Udo anymore. They have this American guy. He's 63 years old, but he still takes off his shirt and rocks with the best of them. He has that powerful, gruff voice. You know, age is like fine gravel. And... yes. So, but yeah, they have the album A Rise of Chaos. I listened to it. My quick opinion is people often compare Accept to AC/DC, but I like Accept better because they used to be more melodic. They had less bluesy, more thrashing, more layers of guitar going on. But lately, their songs, they'll just take a cliche like "Don't drink the Kool-Aid," and that'll be the chorus. "Don't drink the Kool-Aid, don't drink the Kool-Aid." And then I have another cliche like, "If you live by the sword, you die by the sword." That's just like the chorus, you know, and it's just kind of, so it's just good. Actually, there are a few good songs. The Analog Man, which of course is, I'm an analog man. Analog man.
What do you think Balls to the Wall was?
Right. Balls to the Wall, man!
Balls to the Wall. I mean, it was just, you know,
that's true.
Maybe that's just kind of their shtick. Maybe they've always been like that.
Yeah, they still had a certain...
Which is hilarious because when you were singing that song that time, we have two little boys.
Yeah.
They would run up to the wall and like put their balls on the wall.
Yeah, well, they were just imitating their dad.
The greatest thing ever.
They weren't listeners. They had their pants on.
Well, yeah, of course they had their pants on.
They were just imitating their dad. You know.
I was talking to Marcy. Marcy wants you all to apologize to Mr. Carson. Marcy told me that he's given his father a big, great present that he paid for with his own money.
I think we've run out of new things to talk about the show. We've already talked about how great Castlevania music is on the previous episode. So maybe we should just stop it, right? Let's just stop. No more.
Hey, no, but I do want to ask you about the Gobatron.
Yeah.
Is he coming back?
I don't, there's some things that have yet to be revealed that I'm going to leave in suspense, like not only about Gobatron, but about Kraftwerk having a show.
Okay, well, speaking of the two, since the Gobatron's not here and he can't hear, is there a way to reprogram his voice to sound different?
Yes, theoretically that's possible. I mean, why?
Good, that's all I wanted to know.
Okay. His voice box is a bit old school, so I don't think you could do... It'd be kind of like a vocoder kind of sound, kind of like similar to what Kraftwerk used.
Exactly.
There we go. Okay, I got it now. Nope, sorry. Forbidden. He's my bot. He's my bot.
We hope you enjoyed the 80 of the 80s podcast, a proud member of the Throwback Network. To support our show, please leave a review at iTunes. You can also download more episodes at TuneIn, Stitcher, or on our website, 80ofthE80s.com. And we also want to be your Facebook friend. Until the next song, this is AK-47 thanking you for your power play. I'm more of a old school Stephen King.
Yeah, which...
The Shining, Carrie, Misery.
It is kind of old.
It is. That's why I'm excited about it. Yeah, I've just recently been rereading The Shining, actually, and I forgot how scary it is. It's pretty scary stuff, man.
It is scary.
It is scary too, I'm sure. Yeah, but I want it
I'm
on
trying to
recording
make-
right
yes.
now.
Yeah.
An agreement that you will go see this with me.
I was trying to make a joke like, have you seen Saw 2? And you say yes. I saw Saw 2 too.
Do you see the face? I'm waiting.
Alone.